viewers, and welcome back to the Southman Auto Channel. Got us an 03 Buick LeSabre here. I believe it's an 03. It's got the big 3.8 in it. Customer told me he took it to a local shop to have the coolant elbows replaced. These have those plastic elbows down in the belt tensioner. Pretty notorious. They break, they leak. You update them, put the metal ones in, and you're good to go. He picked up his car, noticed that his back seat was not in all the way. He took and popped that back in. Assumed they had it out because they had the battery unhooked, because to do those coolant elbows you have to unhook the battery because you have to remove the alternator. It sits really close to the firewall there, and take the chance of shorting out that main battery wire. He did say the next day after he picked it up, he noticed his interior lights didn't work, the vanity lights up on the visors, no reverse lights, no rear window defogger, the trunk button quit working, and the power locks. He also made a note here that says his auxiliary outlet doesn't work and cigarette lighter outlet doesn't work, but he was aware that they didn't work, prior to taking his car in. However, he's, the best of his knowledge, everything else did. So he did what anybody would do. He took it back to the shop to ask them, could something have got bumped or unhooked or whatever. He doesn't know. He's not a mechanic. Evidently, the shop got pretty nasty with him. Told him to pound sand. And here it is, wants me to take a look at it to see what caused, all these problems on his list. I don't know if they're all related or not, just looking at them. The lights I can understand. Other than that, I'm not sure. So, being that they all happened at the same time, I would say our best bet is to pick something easy, maybe the rear defogger circuit. See why that doesn't work and just see if that leads us back to, all these issues. I lied. It's a 2005. I'm firing up the computer here so we can grab us a wiring diagram so we know where to begin, where the fuses are, things like that. We'll take it from there. So looking on a diagram here, hopefully I can share this with you folks. I decided let's just look at the rear defogger just because that's what I said. So we have a rear defogger relay, we have a fuse. Just trying to get an idea where we're going to go with it. And of course this is the rear defogger grid back here. Needless to say, in order to turn this relay on, because I doubt we're going to find a fuse problem, because I doubt all these run off the same fuse. Just something that's just kind of going in my gut right now, just like I say, trying to get an idea. In order to turn that on, it's turned on by the rear integration module, or the RIM. And then, so let's start at the beginning. So we push the button here on the rear window defogger, and then that sends a signal to the instrument panel integration module, and from there it sends a signal to the rear integration module, and then the rear integration module turns on the relay, and well, the rest is history. So being that works off a module, I say we take and we'll just grab a scan tool real quick, see, because it looks like we might need some data, see if it's even receiving that input, and then we'll do all the rest of our checks here. Wait for a scan tool to boot up here. Wait for that dinger to quit dinging. Quit dinging, you ding dong! Oh, there it goes. Let's close up there. Mrs. O's making some noise in there. So the power windows work. Let me get them up. Ooh, that didn't sound good. So that's the lock unlock button over here. Nothing's happening. No interior lights up there. And I do not hear any clicking, but I also notice that it does not light up either. So let's get the scan tool loaded. See if we can talk to this RIM, see if we can see any type of input, and then chase it down from that area. So currently I'm just pulling codes from all modules, because let's say we have a no-com with something, modules will tell on other modules, so it's always a good idea to do. So I'll let this finish, let this populate. So there is codes in the climate control module, so that's good. So rear integration module. Oh, you see that? Not scanned. I think that's code word for no com. So that's pretty interesting. I wonder if all those other components that don't work also run off that module. I think that do my list. Well, actually, we can take a look here, I guess, while we're waiting. So I opened this up a diagram on the reverse lights, because I remember that was on his list also. Guess what? The reverse light control for the reverse light relay also runs off the rear integration module. Alright, so it's all starting to make sense now. What else did he have? We had interior lights, right? Interior, I-O-R. Interior lights. Hey, look at that. So let's just see what these little guys run off. If they're all the same, then we're going to change our interior lamp relay lighting system. Here we go. Interior lamp relay. Rear integration module. We're starting to see the connection now. I bet if we look up everything else, we will also find... Let's see here. We got some old history codes in the ECM. Current code, Class 2 data link malfunction. That is in the climate control. I wonder if that code sets if it cannot communicate with the rear integration module. I assume it had Class 2 data lines going to it. This is an old enough GM. Let's see here. Where were we? Actually, I saved it in my bookmarks. Let me open this back up. Come on, bookmarks. Loading, Defogger schematic. Let's see. It actually has two Class 2 serial data lines going to it from the HVAC module. So, that's good to know. Instrument panel also has a Class 2 data line malfunction. And if we remember looking on our diagram here, it goes from the HVAC module, so from this button here, it goes to the instrument cluster, and then, right, is that what it said? No, I'm sorry, instrument panel integration module, and then to the rear integration module. So, both of those modules that this button communicates with have, turn off fella, Class 2 data malfunctions in them. Rear integration module. This vehicle may be missing optional equipment, which we know this vehicle is supposed to have. And then instrument panel, nothing. I may have misstated that. And so rear door module. Okay, so let's change our plan a little bit here. Now that we've gathered a little bit of data, I believe I may have stated that incorrectly. Let's see. Yeah, instrument panel integration module. Instrument panel module. Okay. Alright, change of plan. Let's find out where the old rimmer lives. See if it has powers and grounds. Perhaps it is a blown fuse. So let's find this little guy. So I did some poking. I found a picture. And it looks like two connectors. I don't know if that's the trunk. Looks like possibly the rear door opening in the trunk. I'll do some poking here, see if I can find some wordage. I didn't find any verbiage. I did find it on a color diagram though. Just want to see this thing runs heated seat, all kinds of body functions. Rear integration module behind upper left rear seat cushion. Okay, so that's good to know. Grounds in the lower left side of the trunk. Controls rear defoggers, controls reverse lights, interior lamp control. Alright, heated seats if it had it. Rear compartment ajar switch. Okay, cigarette lighter relay. Alright, so this is all, it's all made sense to us. Let's find this little guy, see what we're missing. Powers, grounds, maybe shorted Class 2. I don't know. Maybe a friggin' blown fuse. So let's get to the fuse box. What's this? Rear fuse box under the seat. Let's just check a couple little simple things here real quick first before we get too carried away. Get a pin here. Oh, come on, little fella. Oh, son of a monkey there. Let me get the other side loose. Yeah. Alright, let's pull that out. It's got the wrong battery in it. That's one thing. It doesn't matter, but okay. Well, there's our fuse box. Let's make sure our fuse is good. Go from there. So I don't have to answer 100 questions in the comment box. Why does it have the wrong battery in it? This battery is actually, it's correct in the sense it's side post. it is not vented outside the car. You can see somebody left the vent hoses off from it right here. It's supposed to be able to hook to the sides of the battery. They just kind of did whatever they did with them. So this battery is actually gassing inside the car, which can be dangerous. Let's see, I got the old power probe. Had this baby out doing something else, so we'll just use that. Get our cover off here. You guys remember we did a video on a Buick where, what do you have to do, like, I think it was cut the seat bracket or something, because it pushes on the fuel pump relay and causes problems. Okie dokie, let's see, what do we have here? Ignition switch fuse, 15 amp. Let's find that on our chart here. The ignition 1, no ignition switch it says, so we gotta find ING SW number 29. And these are no sequential order. There's 29 right there, which is, survey says, 15 amp right there. Alright, so we got power on both sides. I'm just going to look at a diagram here. That is the power supply for the rim. So our fuse is good, we do know that. It also receives power from ignition 1 relay. So let's find ignition 1 relay. Micro relays, circuit breakers, mini fuses. Ignition 1 micro relay, number 41. And that lives right here. So let's see if this little guy's clicking. It is not clicking. Well, is that number 41? It is not number 41. This is number 41. Okay, that's clicking. Does clicking mean it's good? No, it does not. So let's see where the load side is here. 30 and 87. Uh-oh. I imagine that's good because we probably just set a whole bunch of codes. 30, because I heard it ding. 30 should be hot. 30's hot. Number 87 should be this one. Okay, our relay is good. Of course, we probably just set a bunch of codes because you guys heard the dinger ding. So our relay is good. Our switch fused, our fuse is good. Da, 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 da. Time to keep on trucking. Actually, we'll leave that hooked up because we might need it. I wonder if we can get into the trunk. Hopefully the key works. And I love Bob Buick. You can actually fit in the trunk quite comfortably. Here's the old rimmer. So there she is. There was a plastic shield over this that was actually magnetic. It was kind of neat. Pulled that off. Got a computer back here. So we are going to find who's who. We got two choices of connectors, C1 and C2. It appears C2 has more wires, so we'll assume it's this one. We'll unplug it. Actually, we'll just unplug both of them just for a quick visual. I assume we got to pull the seat back to pull this. Nothing looks green or crusty. And then it looks like our orange wire. Orange wire is power. That's the one we checked at the fuse, so let's just check it back here. Where are you hiding there, little fella? Second one over on that row. So it should be this little guy right in here. Let's see, 1, 2. Alright. And then our pink wire was one that ran from the relay. And that goes into the other connector. And that is pin numero 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we have power on both of them. Our grounds is black with a white stripe in this harness. How come I got two black with whites? Two black with whites. Oh, okay, both of the grounds go into connector C1. They're on top of each other. That one. Oops. Can they carry current? Yep. Enough current to blow a circuit breaker. Okay, so they carry current. Come on, stop it. There you go. So the only thing we have to check for now, we have power, we have ground, we have no communication, so we need to see if we have data. Let me just make sure it doesn't have some kind of wake up signal back here. I don't believe it does. Heat seats, grounds, retaining accessory power control. Class 2 serial data, purple wire. We got 2 data lines running back into this harness, and they run right side by side over here on the very end. Pins 12 and 1. I gotta get back out of the trunk now. We're back. We got a new toy. You can't see it, but you're about to. Hopefully this doesn't bone me because I don't know how to use it. Alright, we're breaking out the world's smallest, maybe not the world's smallest, but the U-scope. This is a completely handheld oscilloscope brought to you by AES Wave. So we're going to check this out. We should be able to easily see our data communication lines. Let me see if we got some leads in here for it. Bear with me, folks. Appears to be something in this bag here. Comes with a whole bag of goodness. Alright, look at that. So we have some leads. Let's plug it in. Make sure the little guy turns on here. Well, that's fun. So that turns on. Alright, let me see what we got for probes. Hopefully I don't have to get back out of the trunk. If we do, we'll scream for Mrs. O. Okay, we got a couple. It comes with some needle probes here, which should do us just fine for what we're doing. We'll just be very ginger, of course. Stick them down. We're going to get one here. So we want a ground, which we know is in this connector. Black with white stripes, so we'll just lightly stick that in there. We'll stick this one here. And this is going to be for our class 2 data, which is in this connector. That's the purple wire. Hey, look at that. That's fancy. I haven't even done any setups yet. Let me just change the time on the screen here. Oh, wrong way, fella. Let's see, I don't know how to move the trigger just yet. But we should have a 0 to 7 volt square wave of data communications. And it appears that we do. We got to bring up a cursor here. I want to make sure those are, I know we're at 0 and we're what, 2 volts per division, so 2, 4, 6. That is 7 volts because we're at 2 volts per division. Let's just see if we can bring up a cursor. Bear with me here, folks. Trigger. We want to move our trigger position. There we go. We moved our trigger over to the left, so now we get a little more data on the screen. And now, what were we doing? Oh, a cursor. What do we want? We want a time. No, we want a voltage cursor. Son of a gun. Sorry, folks. It's I don't really know what I'm doing here. Cursors, okay. Or voltage. We want to turn that on. Now we want to move it. Chug it, chug it, chug it, chug it. It's moving. See, I'm moving my cursor down. Come on down. It's like the Price is Right. And our cursor is at 7.44 volts. So close enough. We are going from 0 to 7. That's a lot of data up on the screen. So let's check our other. I'll try to hold this. We'll check our other purple wire here. Oops. Shorted it to ground. That won't hurt anything though. Don't worry about it. I'll just hold it. And we can see we have class 2 data on that wire also. Oops. Oops, she does not. Yeah, well, that tells us our network's good because I just shorted it to ground, and which doesn't do anything. No harm, fellas. Don't worry about it. Let's plug her back in. Let's make sure we got data with it plugged in. This is looking kind of, let me just hold the ground for it. Oops, shit. Oops, sorry. Bet my needle. And I swore at you. So with the module still plugged in, we have nothing because my wire fell out. I suck at this. I just want to make sure this module wasn't getting pulled down, which it shouldn't, because I think it would bring other modules off the network if it was, but just good habit to get into here. Let's see. Let me see if I can hold that for you. All right, so we have data plugged in, we have power, we have ground, but nothing's working. That means the rim module is bad. Is that right? What do you think? So I just want to make sure I'm covering all my bases here. I want to see, it looks like this module is in control of mostly outputs. You know, like it receives data over the class 2 network to say, you know, turn this on, turn that on. And it essentially does just that. It has a lot of relay controls where it turns on relays to turn on lights, to turn on reverse lights, to, you know, turn on the cigarette lighter, to do all that stuff. The heated seats, I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Because if it had certain inputs, I don't think that would mess it up either. I do see, though, it has a 5-volt reference, ALC. I believe that is for the air suspension. And that has a 5-volt reference. Now, I do not know if that 5-volt reference were to be pulled down, if that would screw that up. I don't even know if this thing has air suspension on it. But that is a good thing that we should check just to see. Now, if the 5-volt reference is down, that could be either because we have a bad module or because it's being pulled down. So that is something to look at. Let's do that real quick. It's connector 1, so a small connector, gray wire, pin 6. Oh, man, you guys gotta come back here to my little snuggle party. One more time. Let me move my stuff. I don't want to break my new toy. Oh, hang on, folks. I'm too old to be crawling in trunks anymore. I'm too fat. One or the other. What are we looking for? Gray wire on this connector. Let's find it first. There she goes. Ah, gray, like my hair. That wire right there. Gray wire. Where you at, little guy? That's the gray wire. We're just going right beside it. Plug you back in. I'm sitting on my wires. 0.02 volts. So that's interesting. I do have the key on, right? Yeah, I know I got the key on. 0.02 volts. That did not help doing that. So I'm wondering, I do not know personally if a 5-volt reference on one of these will, if it was pulled down, let me make sure I'm checking the right wire again. If it was pulled down, will that kill communications to this module? Or is it just missing 5 volts because of the fact the module itself is dead? That is the age-old question. How can we answer it? Well, we could depin it here real quick, I guess. As long as I don't stab myself right through the finger. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. So it is right next to the blue with white. Don't anybody forget that. That's where that wire goes. Next to blue and white. How the heck do you depin it? I can't see the freaking little flipper thing. It's not on the front side, right? Nope. I think I got it. What's up, Miss O? You wanna go on the trunk here with me, the pretty girl?
It looks like you're taking up most of it.
Yeah, we can cuddle.
That's about it.
Oh no, you doubt my abilities there, woman. Alright, I'm freaking giving up. Let's find the other end of this thing. We might have to go underneath the car. I don't want to destroy the connector. I'm flicking the little flicker, but I can't get it to unflick. Is that technical? So let's put this back on. Well, usually those aren't too difficult, but apparently I've never been on live television before. If it was me and I wasn't making a video, I'd just cut the dang wire about 4 inches up. But what's up?
You have a customer on the phone and a customer in the office.
I give up, Vanessa.
No.
I can't even fix a freaking car because of people. Who is it? Is it the air filter lady?
It's the take you for a drive to listen to the noise.
Son of a monkey. Alright, we'll be back in 20 minutes, folks. We are back. And I won. I got it out. Just had to walk away for a minute. I had to find the right flicker to give it the flick. So now, we'll plug it back in and see if communications have been since restored. Shouldn't be anything on that. Still the 0.02 volts. Okay, let's go see. We'll just take and cycle the key for what it's worth. Still nothing there. Still nothing there. Just for poop and laughter. It's kind of odd that this would have all quit just at the same time. What do we want? We want rear integration module. Well, let me back out of here, because clearly I don't know what I'm doing. Rear integration module, continue. It should come up with a no comm yet. So error, no communications. So that did not work. The only last ditch effort we could do is just unhook the battery, make sure it's not some kind of logic problem, and then make the call. Alright folks, that's it. I did the battery disconnect. Let it sit for quite a while. I had to do some other stuff, come back, hooked it up. Of course, everything is still not functioning. We've done what we could do. It has power, it has ground, it has the ability to communicate, and the 5-volt reference that it feeds out to the suspension level sensor is not shorted. It needs a module, simple as that. Was it caused by the other shop changing the coolant elbows? I don't know. I don't see any reason why it would be. So we'll just leave that alone, tell the guy what's wrong with it, and keep on trucking. If you guys are going to ask questions, this is the AES Wave U-Scope Master Kit. So yeah, we've got the amp clamp, comes with an amp clamp, comes with, you know, of course, all the leads and everything I use, a couple of the little probes. It comes with an ignition probe, a little ignition paddle for coil and plug ignition. A bunch of other little things, a 10-to-1 attenuator. Comes with an AC filter, so if you want to AC couple it, you just plug this little guy in. You'll have to use the attenuator because I think the scope's only good up to 80 volts by itself. So if you're doing like primary ignition, you're going to want an attenuator. Otherwise, you will let the smoke out of it. And that wouldn't be good. So in it comes in its handy little carrying case. And there will be a link in the description box if you're interested in that. I'll put links down there for the Power Probe 4 that we used, and also for the OTC Evolve, which also doubles as a J2534 pass-through device, in case you're curious. And I think that's it. I think that's all the questions you'll have. I'm going to keep trucking. I'm going to see if I can find us a module. Don't know if we can use a used one. I don't even know if they need to be programmed. Either way, we'll be able to sort that out, no matter what the case. So I got to do my research. Go down, click subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff. Leave your questions, comments, criticisms, or concerns in the comment box below. And just remember, viewers, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching.